Selling online has become a quick way to turn your collectibles into cash. But do you ever wonder why some items sell like hotcakes and others seem to just collect dust? The secret is in the online photograph. Posting a dark and distorted picture will leave a buyer confused and wary to make a purchase, while a crisp and clear photo gives the buyer every reason to spend their hard-earned money. Today, I'm going to show you how to properly light your scene and how to resize your digital image for the web. Unlocking the secrets of online photography, next on The Whole Picture. Welcome to The Whole Picture. I'm Erin Manning. You know, you can buy and sell just about anything online these days. And if you're selling something online, the photograph you use to sell your item can make all the difference between a sale and no sale. Now, you want to make sure your photo is compelling and descriptive as possible so it alleviates any doubt in the mind of your potential buyer. Now, the two things that really entice me when I buy online are the description and the photograph. Now let's take a look at some of the photographs I took for some online items that I sold. Here's a picture of my wooden Buddha, and I just took a full front shot and tried to fill up the screen as much as possible so you can really see the detail. And it's always good to get a side shot too. Next, I took a picture of a glass and again filled the frame, got it very close, and also provided some detail here so you can see there's some bubbles in the glass, along with any special markings on the item. That's very important. Now here's some examples of some bad pictures I found on an online auction site. This particular photograph is too far away. I can't really see everything that's going on here, specifically because it's out of focus and the lighting is really bad. I'm guessing they use the on-camera flash, which gives us some reflection there. This photograph, we're not really seeing the entire guitar here. We're just not up close enough. And here, well, it's out of focus. I think it's a watch, and it's really not taking up enough of the frame. They could have done a lot better job here so we could see everything that's going on with this watch. It's a good idea to put a little thought into your image before you post it online. So the first thing I'll teach you about today is composition. And by that, I mean you want to create a vivid and memorable presentation of your item. Because to spark your buyer's interest, you really need to capture their attention. Next, I'll show you how to light the item for its best presentation. Then I'll show you how to resize the photograph on the computer. Now, as a professional photographer, I can tell you sometimes the photographs you take just don't turn out as perfect as you want them to be. And that's why we'll use an image editing software program today on this computer. Finally, we will upload it to the online auction, and we're off to the races. I have a student coming in any minute by the name of Lee, so I'm going to go grab the gear before she gets here. Okay, here's what we'll use today to photograph our items for the online auction. We'll start with a clip-on lamp, and this has a daylight bulb inside. And then as a backdrop for our items, you can just use common household things like bed sheets, right here. And also cream-colored butcher paper works very well. And then to reflect and bounce light back onto your items, try using some white reflector board. Now I'll go ahead and get everything set up while we wait for Lee. Go ahead and take a look at some of the other pictures I took for online auctions. They say image is everything. To the potential buyer of an item online, it's the only thing. Up next, I'll show you how to maximize the details that will maximize your sale. Welcome back to The Whole Picture. Selling effectively online begins with good online photos. Clear and decisive photos grab your buyer's eye. Add a decent description and your item can become irresistible. My student Lee Roberts' photos just haven't reflected the potential of the item she wants to sell. Hey, Lee.
Hi, Erin.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Wow, you brought a lot of great stuff. Go ahead and set that down over there.
Okay, great.
And we'll get started. Now, you mentioned you're having some problems taking photographs of your items, right?
I am, yes.
Okay. Well, I went ahead and grabbed some things in the house that we're going to use today to take some great photographs.
Good.
And really help you sell that item.
That would be good.
All right, so just remember, whenever you're taking pictures of anything for an online auction, this is really your chance to make it look as visually appealing as possible and really capture their attention.
Right, because the more appealing the picture looks, the more people will be interested in the product.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah, so you can sell it.
That'd be nice.
The whole point. All right, so the first lesson I'll teach you today is about composition.
Okay.
And by composition, I mean how we're going to position those items within the frame.
Okay, good.
So if we have multiple items that we're selling, maybe you've got a lot of wooden bowls or something, we'll just position those artfully within the frame to make them look visually appealing, but also so people get kind of a description of what they're actually about.
Okay.
Okay, and then if we just have, say, one item, we'll get a front view of that and have it fill the frame, and then also get, say, a side view or back view, just depending on that item.
Are we going to use more than one photo?
Yes, exactly. With these online auctions, what's great is you can upload multiple photographs, and that really helps you show off that item.
Right, because they can look at more than one photo than multiple photos of it.
Yeah, so it makes it a lot easier to sell that way.
Great.
A lot more descriptive. And then also, if there are any distinguishing characteristics on that item, like little details or special marks that would really help its identity or show off its value, we'll make sure we photograph those too.
All right, great.
So here's a great tip. Just put yourself in the buyer's shoes. As you're photographing that item, think about what you would want to see as the buyer if you were going to buy that online. Begin by removing any objects that will inhibit you from taking the photo. Once cleared, you'll need to place a backdrop over the area to create uniformity. Make sure your object stands out on the background. If not, try a different color. The easiest thing to do is to use a solid color bed sheet or a piece of neutral colored fabric. Your background should never call attention to itself. Check your LCD screen to make sure the object and the background work together and the background doesn't distract from your item. For extremely large items like this chair and ottoman, it's best to photograph them where they are. Your objective is to show the context of space in relation to the product. Again, clear away any objects that inhibit the view of your subject. Then, check your LCD to make sure the item fits in the center of the frame and that the background is minimized. Once you have your item in space presentable, you're ready for lighting. Okay, now that we've composed the picture, we need to set up the lighting.
Okay.
And the first thing you need to remember about all lighting for all pictures is you need to be aware of the quality and direction of the light. Okay, now the direction of the light, that makes sense, right? You could come in from any direction. But the quality is either how hard or soft the light is on your object.
Okay.
Now, a harsh light, for example, would be the on-camera flash on your point-and-shoot camera. So when we take a picture of that object, it sends out a harsh light, and it's most likely going to reflect something back.
Okay.
So we'll lose information in those blown-out white areas, okay? And a soft light could be a huge light source that's maybe a little bit further away, which would give a soft light on our object. Now today, we're going to experiment with these clip-on lights.
What kind of bulb is that? I've never used that kind.
Well, it's a good question. And first of all, it's not really hard and it's not really soft light either. It kind of depends on how far away we're going to have it from the subject.
Okay.
It's kind of right in the middle. But this bulb itself is a daylight bulb. And that means it's the same color as daylight coming in from the windows. And that we keep our lighting consistent. It'll filter out any indoor yellow light that happens to be happening anywhere around the scene.
Okay, got it.
Okay? So just remember, it's all about experimenting. That way you can get the best picture of your object. Lighting small items is easily done with an inexpensive clamp light. Clip the light onto an everyday item like a coat rack and position it at 45 degrees, casting light on your subject. To fill in the shadows on the opposite side, position a white reflector board and then bounce light towards your subject. Take a look at the effect in the viewfinder or LCD and move the light back and forth as necessary. Buyers want detail, so get as much of the subject in the LCD screen as you can. Also, you want to be as close as possible to your subject without creating distortions or shadows. At times, you may need to exercise more control over the amount of light being used. Dimmers allow amateur and professional photographers an easy way to control the amount of light on a subject. As you become more advanced, think about investing in a lighting kit. There are some inexpensive lighting kits that will create the perfect amount of light for online photographs. They make it much easier and faster to set up your shot. If you'd like to know more about working with lighting for digital photography, visit our website at DIYnetwork.com. Lee has quickly learned capturing a buyer's attention begins with a captivating image. But getting the image is only part of the process. Up next, I'll show you how to get things down to the right size for the web. Captivating online photographs begin with a little thought on the object's presentation. Work with solid backgrounds that don't visually compete with your item. Buyers like details, so fill your frame as much as possible and capture all the angles of your item. But once you've captured your image, you need to work with it to get it down to size. You don't want your potential buyers to turn you down before the image has time to download. Welcome back to The Whole Picture. I'm Erin Manning, and I'm sitting here with Lee Roberts, and we've been downloading all of our images to the computer to take a look. So I went ahead and downloaded all the pictures on the computer, so let's go ahead and click through and find some that will really work.
Okay.
Okay, they're starting to look better. I can see where you're filling the frame. The lighting on that looks great. Pretty nice. Okay. You know what, let's start with this one.
Okay.
Because we want an overview shot. Let's go ahead and crop this first, because there's still some extra information in here that we probably don't need. So let's come up here to the menu bar and click on File, Save As to begin with. The next thing we'll do, and this is called File Management, we're going to create a new folder. Go ahead and click New Folder and name it something that you can remember for this particular auction. So you could call it Online Pictures or Auction, whatever you like. Whatever's easy for you to find. That's the key to file management. Go ahead and click Create. This gives us the folder we'll save everything to. Now go ahead and name this picture, let's call it Overview, since that's what it is.
Okay, Overview.
And then go ahead and click Save. Okay, this is a JPEG dialog box, and it gives us some options here. Right now it's on maximum quality, which is what we want, and also baseline standard. Now, that's just a standard version of viewing this particular JPEG, so anyone could see it. Go ahead and click on OK. Great. Now let's start cropping. And we'll do this by coming over here to the toolbar on the left, click on the crop tool. It's right here.
This one?
Uh-huh. Little box with like a line drawn through it. Now we're going to crop this, and there isn't really that much information we need to crop out on this particular photograph. I think you have enough room at the top, so maybe start at the very left-hand top of the image and click and hold down, and we're going to drag all the way down to the lower right.
Okay, start right here?
Uh-huh, so just click and then drag down to about somewhere down here. About there, that's good. Now just let go. Now just so you know, these little dancing ants that are going around the image, that means that's where we're going to crop, so that's what you're viewing. And we have little bounding boxes all around the edges. You want to click and drag on one of those to make this box a little bit bigger. I would say extend it a little bit more on the upper part.
Put it right here?
Just very carefully, just drag it up just a little. Sometimes it's a little touchy. There you go, just like that. Go ahead and bring down the slider bar so it sits right in the middle. Good. I think that looks good. You could bring this in a little bit here on the left.
On this side.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. Go ahead and double click inside the box and that will crop it for us. Okay.
Oh, good.
That looks good. Now this is the overview picture everyone's going to see on the online auction. Now, the other thing we want to play with too is resizing the photograph, okay? Because all the online auction places have certain digital specs for the photographs. This particular auction we're going to be uploading to later wants us to have it a certain size. So I'll show you how to do that. Come up here to the menu bar and click on Image and come down to Resize and carefully roll over to Image Size.
Okay.
Now we have an image size dialog box with a lot of information in it, right? Pixel dimensions, document size, and all these little boxes click down here. We're not going to pay too much attention to document size today because that's more for printing out, but what we do want to pay attention to right now is resolution. Okay. All the images on a screen that you see are about 72 pixels per inch. So we really don't need it to be any larger than that for viewing on screen, and that's where everyone's going to see it. So just double click in there.
Okay, on the resolution?
In resolution, and type in 72. Okay. The other thing we want to pay attention to before we change anything else like pixel dimensions on here would be constrain proportions, and make sure this box is checked, which it already is, but just in case, make sure it's always checked, and I'll show you why in a minute. Let's come over here, come up to pixel dimensions, and in the width, just double click in that box and type in 300, because the maximum file size this online auction place wants it to be is 300 pixels by 300 pixels.
Okay,
So type in 300. Now you notice the height also changes at the same time proportionally. That's because we clicked the constrain proportions box.
Okay.
So it starts to make sense. You'll also notice that the height now is still too high. We need the maximum file size is 300 by 300. So let's double click in the height box and type in 300 there. Now the width is now a little less than 300, but that's okay. We're under the maximum file size. So go ahead and click OK.
There you go.
Okay, now we want to make sure that we're seeing it in the actual size we're going to view it in. So just click over here on the zoom tool.
Right here.
And click actual pixels. And that will show us the actual size that someone will see it. That's the size everyone will see now when you're selling this item online. Now that your image is up to your standards, let's see if it's up to the buyers. Uploading the final image to the online auction, that's coming up. When taking online photographs, think of the motto, shoot to sell. Light and frame your subject for maximum appeal, and then fine-tune your picture to capture the buyer's eye. Now that you've got a picture that says 1,000 words, it's time to post your item for all to see. Okay, these are our final pictures we're going to use, and I think we've got our overview here, a nice detail shot, and a good angle. I think this will really sell the item. Let's go ahead and click on the web browser right down here.
Okay.
And let's go to the site.
Right here?
So we've gone ahead and logged into our auction site. We've already chosen a category under glass and bottles. Down here is our description. We already filled that in, 1930s vintage white bottle, and the title. Let's go ahead and pick the condition right here. If you just click the drop-down menu, I think it's pretty good. It's better than acceptable. Okay, you could say good or very good. That looks good.
Okay.
Now, let's upload our photographs. Click on the little button right here that says Upload Photos. All right, now this is taking us to the step-by-step file that we need to do. Let's click on Choose File. Now let's choose our image. And remember where you stored it? It's under the folder Lee, and you called it Online Pictures, I believe. So go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom. I think that's where it is.
There
Okay,
it is.
yeah, Online Pictures. Double-click on that. Now, you've got your 3 images in there. And the first one that you upload is the one that everyone's going to see as a thumbnail. So let's choose the overview picture for that. Okay, now click on Add Photo. It's really easy, it just walks us through. And the photo should show up over here on the right.
There it is.
There it is. It even tells us it was a success in uploading it. Let's choose the next picture. Click on Choose File. Now let's choose another angle, like the top. We'll pick that picture next. And then click Add Photo. There it is. It shows it was a success again. Now for the last photo, click Choose File, and we'll work on the detail shot here. All right, there's all 3. Now let's click Done. Okay, and scroll down to the bottom of the page here. There's some other options you can go through if you want to, but we'll just make it really simple right now. And we're going to need to click our price. So type in what you'd like your price to be. Okay, let's scroll down to the bottom and click Continue. Great, and it should take just a couple minutes to upload.
Great.
If you'd like to learn more about taking photographs for your own online auctions, just log on to our website at DIYnetwork.com. Okay, Lee, I think the pictures are probably uploaded. There they are. They look
good.
They look great. Okay, let's scroll around and look and make sure everything's correct. The pictures are in the right order, and up here is our description. Antique bottle, and it is in the right category. And let's just double check and make sure everything's correct. The price, that's correct. Everything looks good to me. Now the last thing you would want to do here is click on Submit Auction, and then off it would go. Okay? Do you feel pretty comfortable with it?
I do.
Do you feel like you can do it on your own now?
I do, thank you.
All right, you did a great job today, and it was great working with you.
You too, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope you'll use what you learned today and take your own great online auction photographs. Join me next time on The Whole Picture. Okay, I think we should check here and then publish.